Well, I don't know about you, but the last few weeks have begun to wear on me. The coronavirus stay safe at home orders seem to keep extending, although I'm thankful for the governor's most recent update. But then there's the riots and violence and troubles in the world, as well as how that all impacts me. And I imagine for you too, as you think about it a lot, I found myself kind of blankly staring off into the distance. I find myself looking at Twitter too much, like reading and watching it all unfold and becoming overwhelmed by it all, and not in a sense like I just want to give up or anything, but just kind of like, ugh. I feel very disconnected and very out of touch. And so, I was thinking about our psalm today. It's Psalm 121, and it's a personal psalm. It's a beautiful psalm. It's the second of the Ascent Psalms. And it just really hits close to home in bringing us encouragement when we have things that only God can fix, and maybe helping us adjust to see that our hope is in God. There's so many places that we put our hope, right? Like, so many of us are saying, "Oh, I can't wait till we get back to normal," like as if normal will come again and it'll make everything better again, So we put our hope in so many places that really disappoint, that really leave us wanting. And so this psalm asks a question and then answers a question and gives us some hope and confidence in a very personal way, and I hope that you're encouraged by it. I hope that you're strengthened by it. It's Psalm 121. He writes, "I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from?" And so there's this question. Picture a pilgrim on his way to Jerusalem. Picture the idea of the hills being a bad place, being where robbers looters, people who would be lying in wait. And so there's this sense that he's in trouble, and he looks to the hills and he's afraid and concerned. I love how the psalm goes, because he answers his question right away. He says, "My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth." I just love the response there. I love that he verbalizes it, that he asks the question, and that the question is answered with this idea that our help comes from the Lord, who is the creator, who is sovereign over all things. And so he is the maker of heaven and earth. And then he goes on to talk about what our good God does. He writes this: "He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." So there's this idea that God doesn't sleep. He doesn't go off duty. He doesn't take a vacation. He is a God who is sovereign and oversees us. Really, the most vulnerable time in a human's life is to go to sleep. You let go. You close your eyes, or at least you try to when there's trouble. And this psalm gives us a deep sense of peace to know that we can sleep and God doesn't. That there's a lot out of our control, but it's not out of God's control. So the psalm keeps getting more personal. It says, "The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night." So that's morning or night. all day long, 24/7. The Lord has got it. We keep reading. Verse 7, the Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. I love how the psalm gets personal, how it speaks to our life, your life, and reminds us that He will watch over us. He says that he will keep us from harm. I don't think that means no troubles will come into our life. We know that's true, right? We experience trouble. But there's this sense that we, when we read the psalm, that God has got it. Like, ultimately, He doesn't sleep or slumber, and He watches over us, and we can trust Him. I like the idea how it ends. He will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. I think maybe this is a good bedside psalm. I think it might be a good psalm to read as you close your eyes and feel the burdens of life land in your room as you try to sleep. I think this is a good psalm to put our hope and trust in the Lord, to know that we can put our heads on our pillows and we can go to sleep, but that the Maker of the heavens and earth will watch over us, the Creator of all things. This psalm is really good for kids. If kids get this, right? Kids are so often afraid to go to bed at night. I remember raising our kids, they wouldn't want to go to bed. It would be dark, right? They would be afraid. And you would do all those normal things a parent would do to help them. But I love the psalm because it's just very straightforward and helpful and very personal to remind us, and children especially, that the Lord watches over them. So I pray and hope that you find comfort in the psalm. I pray that as you put your hope in places that'll let you down, that you will turn from those things and you will ask the question, where does my hope come from? And that you will say, it comes from the Lord, the Maker of heaven and earth. So meditate on Psalm 121. This is a psalm that you should keep in your arsenal. You should memorize it. You should keep it close, because we need to be reminded of this often. Well, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you soon. It's coming. We are planning for it. We know that you're ready for it too. Most of you, of course. If you're sick or older, we understand that you may not be ready, or if there are things going on in your life where you're afraid, that's okay. But we'll get there and we'll make it, and stay tuned for all that information as it unfolds. So God bless, good to see you, and we'll talk again.